About 100 people a day take the time to queue for this bowl of porridge. What's so special about it, one might ask? The frogs. Frog meat has been increasingly popular, especially amongst the Chinese community. Most of the frog meat comes from Jurong Frog Farm, the only frog farm in Singapore. Chelsea Wan is the brains and beauty behind the frog family business. After taking over from her father, she has been spearheading it for the past 7 years.
Come, let me show you how it all begins. So this is stage 1, the eggs. So in each cluster of eggs, there's about 10 to 30,000 of them. And we put in a big coconut leaf because prior to this, the mating period, we leave them inside as a catchment for the eggs. I did an entrepreneurial marketing course in NUS, and that was when I was first introduced to the product that my family was selling. So I did a lot of research on it, and I think from there I gained a lot of exposure into the running of the business and how this product has a lot of potential, which is not yet uncovered when my dad was running it. And of course, living here in the farm makes me appreciate nature a lot more, and I probably wouldn't want to be outside running a rat race and trying to chase after basically just money. I think that pretty much would be quite meaningless for me.
As time passes, not all the eggs survive. The ones that die turn white, while the lucky ones hatch into tadpoles and start out a journey of many perils.
So this is the second stage, the tadpoles. So the tadpoles, the survival rate at the frog farm is about 90%. 10% of them will actually die off because of just weaker in constitution. So this is really the survival of the fittest. And if they don't grow fast enough, they actually will end up being cannibalized by the frogs that already evolved out of the same batch.
Like tadpoles fighting for survival, Chelsea managed to overcome all difficulties in the business and emerge better and stronger.
So this business started as a breeding farm, and then gradually, 30 years down the road, there was a lot more demand than what we could supply. So eventually it became more like a trading hub, really buying frogs in and directly selling them back to the market. So I think the main challenges obviously will be, you are really always at the mercy of your suppliers.
After 6 to 9 weeks, the tadpoles start growing tiny legs. Similarly, Chelsea found her feet to step into alternative ways to expand the business.
Our business activity is mainly to do with frogs. So if you only just sell frog meat, it kind of really limit you to your products range. Because I also live on the farm, I actually see a lot of potential in the educational tours also. And seeing how these frogs itself can be a really educational subject, to be taught in schools, and also not just to young people, but rather to of any ages. I think when people lose touch with all this knowledge, they actually really lose touch with nature also. It's always also somewhat in the desire to reconnect, back to nature through frogs.
Finally, the little frogs mature into fully grown American bullfrogs. This is the most crucial and final stage for them to continue on the cycle to sustain their own kind. Chelsea has plans for future developments on Jurong Frog Farm to continually improve the family business.
I think since young I have always been living on the farmland. I personally would think that it would be quite a challenge, to put me back in a square apartment. Given the space that we have here, I'm able to, raise my dogs, without being leashed up, without being confined, to a small area. And we have very strong ties in this crunchy countryside area. So, my neighbors will give me ducks for my pets, and I have area to raise them up the way I want them to be. So I think I'm very grateful for this job, which is also where I stay, which is also what has fed me and my 2 other siblings, gave us a good education. So I think this job to me is definitely more than just a job. This is really my life.